Hey guys, thanks for joining me for another DOKKAN battle video, and today we're taking on Red Zone Cellmax, and we're doing the Battle of Wits mission. So, for this mission, you're only required to have 4 Battle of Wits members. You do not have to have a full team. So pretty much like Orange Piccolo and STR Piccolo are like the really solid picks here. But then I brought Tech Vegito Blue and then AGL Piccon. Now, Tech Vegito Blue and AGL Piccon both can get really smacked up early in the fight here, especially. And my intent here, which never came to fruition because of how the rotations turned out and how units wanted, but my goal was to get AGL Gogeta and Tech Vegito Blue on rotation together because I think they're actually a very nice rotation. It just doesn't really work. Tech Vegito Blue is kind of just an L in this fight, and he just floats and we barely see him. Is kind of what happens here. So poor Vegito Blue. Notification still on, unfortunately. I explained that in my last Cell Red Zone video, but just ignore those. There's going to be some little pop-ups here and there. But what I do with my extra slots then is I run Gamma 2, and then AGL Gogeta are my other like bonus slot units, but the rest is basically Battle of Wits. The friend unit I do think counts for the quest, but I just wanted to be really sure, so I brought 4 of my own plus the friend unit, so I actually have 5 Battle of Wits on my team. And then once again, I use AGL Gogeta and a Gamma 2 as my bonus slot character. So really it's just we ride the Orange Piccolo train. What else is new? He does what he does. He's so good at it. One thing that Cellmax does that is sneaky though, is that he does, and I talked about this in the last video, he changes typings every turn, which not only just messes with your strategy because you can't depend on certain units always being type advantage or disadvantage or whatever. But the big thing is when he changes typings, it's like going to a new phase of a fight. And it basically will interrupt Orange Piccolo's transformation, which basically means Orange Piccolo can only ever be for 1 turn at a time. So instead of getting, 2 to 3 turns with each Orange Piccolo, it's only 1. So overall, we're getting, with both Orange Piccolos, we can get a max of 2 Orange Piccolo turns, whereas normally we can get up to 6 turns. So Cellmax really does, cut back on that. And so that is a strategy moving forward. If they really want to kind of hurt Orange Piccolo, if they're worried about him being too powerful, that is a strategy to help mitigate that. It's still very powerful. It's still a full turn Ghost Usher with free attacks, right? So it is a strategy. Now this Piccolo rotation is very sound and ends up pretty much sticking around the whole time. This turn I played it probably a little too risky because we've got Tech Vegito Blue type disadvantage. But I'm like, I don't know. He's going to, attack a few times, get some stacks in. If we just take normals, we'll probably be okay. So sure, let's see what Tech Vegito Blue, because Tech Vegito Blue, like turn 1, is like garbage stats, like all around. This is the definition of a build-up unit, and he has to attack a lot to build up. Now, he does have a lot of built-in additionals, but doesn't necessarily mean anything, right? So, Orange Piccolo gets super here. I'm like, oh, all right, I think we're safe for the turn, but then you have to remember, this Cellmax can super multiple times in a turn. So Tech Vegito Blue is not out of the water by any means, right? Not to mention that he could still eat from normals. Yeah, 1.5 mil is really bad. But once this guy's fully built up, he can hit like 8-9 mil attack stats. He just needs a lot of building up, right? So he just ended up in a bad spot. He was like in slot 7. He's a build-up unit that doesn't get a lot of turns here. And we already had the Piccolo rotation set. Yeah, look at that. 113k normals. From this Red Zone Cellmax that doesn't hit nearly as hard as normal Cellmax. So we just got bullied there because that Vegito just did not have time to build up. I got very lucky because had we gotten supered there, we would have instantly died. Now right here already, I could have done a Piccon Ghost Usher, but I'm like, this rotation's too good, and we have type advantage with Gamma 2 and Piccon. So even if Piccon gets smacked, Piccon should be able to tank enough because he's at least guarding, right? So, I decide not to pop the Ghost Usher here. And then plus Piccolo could get hit, which was pretty important. So that's the other thing you have to keep in mind when you're running Ghost Usher abilities is, do you have units that want to get hit? That is always a consideration you need to have. So Piccolo takes the super, we're good, double digits. See, when you're running like Ultimate Gohan and Orange Piccolo in these really top tier units, this Cellmax is like constantly hitting for double digits. Because even Ultimate Gohan tanks this guy super for double digits, right? So it makes them seem easy, but then you see Tech Vegito Blue taking 100k normal. So this Cell Max is kind of in an interesting range where, you know, units that aren't seen as defensively viable like Physical Ultimate Gohan, I think he is a very defensively viable unit, but it's just because he can't tank the Ultra Mega like 1 million super attacks, but his defense is still really good. He can get to like 500-600k defense, right? Like really good amounts of defense. And this Cell Max is kind of in that sweet spot range where like units that normally don't tank Ultra Good can actually tank Ultra Good, but units that are still Glass Cannon units can still get caught. Like, so I think this Cell Max, I actually like this fight because I think it's kind of like an interesting in-between difficulty, right? I kind of like the idea that not every red zone is like the new hardest stage in the game. We've got a really good variety of really hard stages. I do think that, yes, in this set of 6, maybe one of them could have been the new hardest stage in the game, but that's not really what's happened. But I like getting these variety of difficulties and different things. So you see there, we took like 90k normals, right? So like the Cell Max isn't just a pushover, and he can multi-super. So once again, if it's the wrong unit getting tagged, like yes, you can get hit very, very hard against the Cell Max, and especially because he's changing his typings and everything, right? He can really mess with you. But I also really like the other red zone that I think people criticize that I actually really like is just the normal Cell red zone, the Cell Saga red zone. And that one I liked because people criticize that that's too easy because you can stun and seal for like, I don't know that you can seal, but I think you can stun for all 3, like the first 3 phases, and it's the 5-phase fight. So 1, I like that it's 5 phases, so it's a longer fight. And 2, I like that you can stun for part of it to actually show off units that can stun. So for a lot of people, it's their first time actually seeing their Orange Piccolo stun, because we've probably all been running him in like red zone and stuff where you can't normally stun. So it's nice to see Piccolo be able to stun and kind of show off there, right? So I think that Cell Saga Red Zone might be a new go-to showcase stage for me. The fact that I can show off units that can stun, it's a long stage, so I still have time to build up. And he still hits really hard, so you can still show off like good defensive units and things like that. I think it's going to still depend on the type of showcase. Like, if I'm showcasing a very powerful unit, I think that's a good stage. If it's like a banner unit EZA that's just like, okay, I probably will still just do like Legendary Vegeta event. But it depends on the unit, right? By the way, we saw AGL Gogeta like dodge like crazy there. I think he dodged like 2 supers or something in that same turn. So, AGL Gogeta is freaking awesome. And then we basically get into a late Orange Piccolo here, where Cell Max only has 2 bars, right? Normally at this point you would say fight over, but once again we're only going to get a singular turn, because Cell's going to change typings, and that basically treats him like a new enemy in a phase, so then it like, it resets. It just resets the turn, and it's like we didn't go Orange Piccolo, and then we have to like just battle normally. It kind of knocks us out, right? So, we let Piccolo do his thing, carry his big stick, beat up Cell with it, right? And yeah, Cell is going to make it through this Orange Piccolo here, I think. We're going to get him pretty close. Pretty much we get him to within a sliver, and then he's going to be out of here, right? So yeah, Piccolo doing his thing. Dude, Piccolo's so cool. Orange Piccolo, like, it is a little boring because it's slower, but it still just feels so good to play him. Like, Orange Piccolo might be my favorite unit in the game right now. He's just too awesome. And I like that it's a character that doesn't get a lot of love. It's just getting all the love right now. I was really pushing for, like, a full Namekian team. I don't know when they're ever going to do this finally, like, this good Namekian team. It would have to be, like, with a Demon King Piccolo, or the next time they bring back Orange Piccolo, or something. But I would love to see the full Namekian team get some love, because that would be a fun team to run, I think. So anyways, guys, there you go. Battle of Wits completed. I do think this was the harder of the two. I thought Hybrids was easier personally. Let me know what you think. Let me know how your runs are going. Thanks for watching. We'll catch y'all on the next one.